This is Act 1, Scene 5. And this is a very, very important scene. It opens with Lady Macbeth at Inverness. And this is Inverness, my drawing, where the Macbeths live. It opens with her reading a letter that has been sent to her from her husband, Macbeth. And it was written right after he and Banquo had been interrupted on their way back from the battle, on their way to Forres, by the witches. And the witches had so impressed Macbeth with what they said about him that he just could not do anything except share this with his wife. He loves his wife very much. And so this shows us that he indeed loves her, because when something amazing happens to you, you want to share it with the person that you love. And so he writes her this letter. Well, when she reads it, we can see her anticipation, her excitement building as she reads, because she says, everything is exciting about this, and we will get this when she finishes reading. She says, Glamis thou art and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. We will be the king and the queen. But watch what she says next. Yet do I fear thy nature is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. I put milk up here on this list because milk is a representation of nurturing and femininity, because milk comes from mothers and is used to nourish children. And so this is a representation that you need to be aware of and watch for in subsequent uses. But so what she's saying is, I think, Macbeth, you're too womanly. Now, we just saw Macbeth on a battlefield, and he was anything but womanly. Remember that steel, that blade that was brandished and smoking with bloody execution? That's hardly a feminine kind of man. But what she's saying is, I guess at home, it's a whole different story. So she says, I'm a little bit worried that you're not going to be able to do this. I don't think that you have the illness that attends that ambition, which means that evil side, that ability to just jump over on the bad side and do something bad. She says, for all those reasons, you need to hurry up home and let me pour my spirits in your ear. Hie thee hither, and let me pour my spirits in thine ear. Then chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round. I'm going to be able to, Macbeth, to get you where you need to be, to do what you need to do, so that we will become the king and the queen. She says, fate and metaphysical aid have already seemed to have crowned you. That supernatural intervention and fate, a strong belief in fate, is what might bring you around. Now, one of the things that you need to be aware of that I have not told you in class, that you're only going to get from watching this video, is that the witches were originally called, and still are in many cases, the Weird Sisters. Now this word weird comes from an older word that is spelled W-Y-R-D. It is pronounced the same way, and it means fate. So these sisters of fate, these weird sisters, these witches, and this is where this comes from. Now, it makes perfect sense, because weird, meaning fate, would to those people who believe that things happen and it's just their fate. The cow dies, the pig dies, somebody's born deformed, a storm comes and destroys the crops. All of those things are in the hands of weird or fate. And so these witches mess with your fate. This is a perfect example in Macbeth of these witches messing with his fate. So a messenger comes in and says to Lady Macbeth, the king is coming tonight. And she can't believe that he says that. Thou art mad to say it, she responds, because she's just been thinking about killing the king. And all of a sudden, boom, there he is. Well, you know, there are two reasons that you can be convicted of murder, even today, and all the way back to then. You have to have these two things. Do you know what they are? motive, and opportunity. Motive and opportunity. Well, she's got the motive. The letter gives them the motive. And the opportunity is just dropped in their laps. And so she's ready to make that happen. She says, is Macbeth not with him? And he says, oh yes, he's coming. Thane is coming. Now, when the messenger leaves, Lady Macbeth really goes into this. The raven himself is hoarse. You know what a raven symbolizes. A raven is hoarse with croaking the entrance of Duncan under my battlements. His death is imminent. Then she calls on evil spirits. And we're seeing this evil connection here with the spirit world. And she says, come, you evil spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, that mess with mortals in this way. Unsex me here. Back to this. Masculine, feminine. Take away all my femininity. That nurturing, that kindness, that gentleness. Take that away, because I need to do something that is very masculine. I need to be able to do this and to make my husband do this. And she says, unsex me here and fill me from the crown, notice she says crown, clever, to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. I need to be head to toe full of cruelty so that I can do this. Make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse. Now, perhaps she meant in the make thick my blood that the nurturing blood is not coursing through her veins. Most scholars, however, think that she's really talking here in this feminine side of blood. And she's talking about stop my natural cycle so that I am not feminine at all. Sorry, guys, but that's what most people think. And then she says, come to my woman's breast and take my milk for gall. So milk, here we go again, milk should be nurturing, life-giving. And she's saying turn it into bitter, almost poison, so that I can do this terrible thing. And then she goes with this, come thick night, darkness, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold. So she's saying, I need to be able to do this without problems, without worry, without any kind of remorse at all. Macbeth then comes in, and she's delighted to see him, greets him with the, you're going to be king, almost. The greatest is beyond. She asks Macbeth, he doesn't know that she knows Duncan's coming, and so he tells her. And she says, when's he leaving? And he says, tomorrow. And she said, never shall sun that morrow see. In other words, he's not going to see tomorrow. Duncan is going to be dead in the morning. And then she goes with this. Look at this theme, false face. She said, your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters. You should remember that line, mark it in your text, because she's saying, Macbeth, I can read you like a book. I can see on your face what you're thinking. And what you're thinking is going to get us in trouble. She said, to beguile the time, look like the time. So if the time is welcoming, you better look welcoming. She said, look like the innocent flower. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower. But be the serpent. You know what that symbolizes. Be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for. Provided for. Yeah, feed him, put him in nice accommodations, but provide. And she said, put this in my dispatch, and I will take care of it. She ends her lines with saying, our days to come will give sovereign sway and masterdom. And then that scene ends. That's the end of scene 5.